This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross, and you're listening to True Heel Heat.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero, and if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat.
What's up? True Heel Heat.
Hello, everyone. It's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our NJPW Capital Collision 2024 review. Breaking down the latest NJPW Strong pay-per-view from last Friday. And of course, to do that, I am joined by my good brother, the MC of the past, present, and future here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. It's your boy, J News. How you doing, J News?
Doing all right, brother. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I. Your one and only good brother, J News, and we're back at it again, talking about this Capital Collision New Japan Pro Wrestling show that went down last Friday. Man. You know what? I'm very stubborn. I don't know if people know that. I'm a very stubborn man. And I think that I just have to come to grips and peace with the fact that New Japan Strong production values are going to be shit every time out. So that is the first thing I want to get off my chest. And I'm talking about just the production value, just like audio. Like I could, like there were times where I couldn't hear Veda. There were times where Walker was going in and out. There was like, oh god, is this, and then the camera angle shit, because they were so close to the ring. I was like, oh, and the ring, and mind you, it's not like it was a 20 by 20 ring. It was a smaller ring, and I was like, why are they so close? What's going on with these angles? And I'm like, all right, man. It was a clusterfuck for me from a production standpoint. But we will talk about the in-ring stuff and things of that nature, because that was the good stuff about this show. And other things that happened out throughout the night. But I wanted to start off with that.
Because just had to get the nitpick out of the way.
Yeah. I will now. I'm just gonna be at peace with it going forward, and leave it alone.
That is fair. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. You could drop the thumbs up on this video. You could share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We cover all of the professional wrestling graps when it comes to WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, Stardom sometimes. We're doing independence at times as well. True Hill Heat is your one-stop shop when it comes to everything professional wrestling, and that's why we are giving you a review of the latest NJPW Strong pay-per-view. I do agree with you. The production value is never really good, especially with the USA shows when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. When it comes to Japan, they're pretty good with the production value, but their production value doesn't always go across the on the trips to the United States. But I will say this show kept up the quality in ring of what we've been expecting from 2023. We were really high on most of the NJPW Strong shows. This one, we had low expectations from when we were talking last Wednesday on our preview, but I think this show overall exceeded our expectations going in.
I definitely agree with you there. It was I was able to watch the show in different segments throughout the last couple of days because life. But at the end of the day, it was definitely a good show. The way it broke down at times, to me, I was like, oh man, is it gonna falter here? Is this match gonna be a letdown? And then nothing let down. So I was really, really appreciative of that. And we'll get into the matches as we break down the card and stuff like that or whatever. I was definitely surprised with one of the matches and how much fun I had with it. So we'll talk about that as we get to it.
Yes, so we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all watching us on demand. Hit the thumbs up, comment in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys. Hear your thoughts on NJPW Capital Collision 2024. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, hit that $sign and send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate that kind of support. But let's get into this show. What did you think about the crowd, first of all, in Washington, D.C. last Friday? It seemed like a smaller crowd than even last year's Capital Collision, but I'd say that they were vocal and loud enough for the matches that they needed to be.
I think halfway through the event, I was able to get the full grasp of how loud the crowd was, because to start, it just, yet again, from a production value standpoint, it just sounded quiet, right? But I saw, even with the lights being as dark as they were, I saw there were a lot of people in the stands. Yes, less people than last year's Collision, but at the end of the day, for the size, for what they resized the arena for, it seemed like they had a good amount of people there. I just wasn't able to hear them. And I remember I think it was Saturday morning when I got onto my Twitter feed and stuff like that. People were mentioning how people were saying how in the arena the crowd was live and the crowd was hot, and I was like, damn, it didn't come off that way like the first half of the show. So yeah. I was just wondering if it was just more or less like usual, like a mic thing or whatever. So I halfway through the show, I was like, oh, okay, this is why people were saying, yeah, in the crowd, stuff was hot or whatever. And I was like, okay, this match proves it. So it made all the sense in the world after the fact, because nowadays you just have to. I mean, growing up, all we relied on was on TV. And now that we have social media and stuff like that, it's like, okay, yeah, sometimes TV doesn't give us what it actually is going on, just because shit happens at times. So I was glad to know that the DC crowd was into it. I saw people who were sitting in the front row, a lot of the young ladies with the Daryl dolls and stuff like that, and people wearing their New Japan t-shirts and stuff. And they were all into it. They were jabbing back and forth with the wrestlers in the ring. So it was a live crowd, So I appreciated that. And I was able to finally hear that later on during the show. So that was cool. That was cool. That was definitely something to appreciate.
Yeah. We got some new faces in the chat, like Omar Flores. Thanks for joining us. Who says, "What's good?" He says, "Things good on my end. Mercedes kick ass, y'all." He says, "Yeah, it was a lot, but could have been more amped up." Yeah, I agree with you. It could have been more amped up at certain times in the show. We got Faz B who's saying CEO. CEO. I'm saying that's one of my favorite things to do, going to a live show. I did that at All In when she did her intro. CEO.
I think
CEO.
I think that that I don't know. I feel like everyone's doing the dance nowadays, which is great because now she has her own thing, right? Because that's usually when you know wrestlers are on, like when they're over or they're on fire or whatever you want to use and stuff like that. And it's not like she hadn't done that before in wrestling, but more now than ever. It's like now it's over. She even had Momo doing it during the match. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yo, Momo had some moves. She hit the swivel on him. Oh, Momo,
yeah.
I see you.
Momo was into it. Definitely a good time that we had at Capital Collision.
We got Hassan in the chat joining us today. Good to see you. We also got Chris, who says Mercedes Mone. We also got Corey Michaels, who he says everyone collided capitally on the show last Friday. Good job, NJPW. Indeed. But the show kicked off with the pre-show matches. You had Matt Vandergriff defeating Alan Breeze in our strong survivor matchup here. This was the usual kind of action that we get from the pre-show opener. Breeze, I thought he was pretty good. He had like a very nice comeback in the matchup. Vandergriff countered his strikes and punctuated the win with a bloody Sunday to pick up the victory here. Vandergriff once again picking up the win as we expected here, but I thought Alan Breeze made a nice showing for himself. What did you think about the strong survivor matchup?
I think this is the first time I felt like, and Veda was saying it during commentary, at least the parts that I could hear at that point, where Vandergriff came in with a slightly different attitude, right? So they were really playing more up the character work for Vandergriff here. So it was an interesting change to his overall, I forget, packaging, from a look standpoint, and his in-ring work as well. So that was cool. Alan Breeze, I need to see more of him. What like you said, he had a nice comeback and stuff like that, but it's like I just need to see more. I need to see more in order to get a better gauge and stuff like that. So that's my only, and I understand obviously they're going to be 5 to 8 minute matches or whatever the case is. It is what it is. But it's like, yeah, I need to see more of that guy to get to have some sort of like idea of what type of worker he is, if he's going to have a bright future in the sport of professional wrestling, things of that nature. But no, another strong survivor match. Matt Vandergriff doesn't seem to be anywhere near being knocked off of being the strong survivor. So he'll continue to get these matches on the New Japan Strong shows as long as they see fit.
What do you think about Vandergriff potentially joining the Bullet Club War Dogs?
Wow, I didn't think of that. Just because he's a New Japan Strong guy, I don't necessarily know if they're taking him to Japan per se. This is not a knock, right? I'm not saying this is a knock, but he reminds me a lot of our Crown Jewel. So at the end of the day, I'm not too sure about him being a war dog or not. But if it goes down that way, maybe the attitude change will lend to greater success down the road. Who knows?
He might be a dog for real. The pre-show main event was Empress Nexus V. Mina Shirakawa and Hanako going up against Viva Van and Trisha Dora. I thought this was a nice showcase for the woman of NJPW Strong as well as Stardom here. Empress Nexus V, Mina Shirakawa is quite possibly the most charismatic female wrestler I have seen in a good 5 to 6 years. Like, she just jumps off the page with her charisma, with her it factor, the dancing and the entrance. It immediately catches your attention. If you're a first-time watcher, you're going to ask yourself, you want to see more Mina. We want Mina is a real thing. It's not just a hashtag that she created herself. Hanako and Shirakawa showed that teamwork in this matchup, whereas Viva Van and Trisha Dora is so talented, probably the most underrated female wrestler in the game right now, but they were overwhelmed by the teamwork of Hanako using her size. She puts on a big torture rack onto Adora, while Mina Shirakawa locks on the figure 4 leg lock on Viva Van to get the tap out victory. The dynamic in this matchup was very well done. Adora and Hanako serving as the big, hard-hitting, bigger tag team partners to their counterparts, and then Shirakawa and Viva Van's personality really shone through. Really like this pre-show matchup, so I gave it 3 stars. What did you think, J News?
No, it was definitely solid, man. I agree with you in the sense that it showed off all the girls individually. It obviously it showed off the teamwork between Hanako and Mina. I've seen plenty of matches with Hanako in them before, but for some reason in this match specifically, she just looked bigger than everyone in the ring, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened here?" No, her teamwork with Mina was super impressive. The tag team maneuvers, the corkscrew splashes that they threw in there from time to time. I was like, okay. Let's keep this going. And Viva Van, man, you know, I've been watching Viva for mad months at this point, man. She's like an indie queen, and I feel like she's gotten so much better over time. And you know, props to her for digging in her heels and doing the work and getting better and everything else in between. She's had her spots on Rampage, on ROH TV. Obviously, she's a regular NJPW strong competitor and stuff like that. But this match just proved to me that that her timing and her pacing is now much better than it was before when I watched her all those months ago. So props to her. And Trisha Dora just needs more time, man. Look, at the end of the day, we both say we want more Trisha Dora on our screens, and I feel like, you know, these NJPW strong shows are always a good showing for her and stuff like that. But I feel like there's just more to her that meets the eye. So definitely a good and solid match for all the ladies involved, and we shall see what goes into the future with all these ladies. There was a picture going around post-show of all the NJPW ladies in a formation, which is very, very cool to see. So that was a nice touch there on the socials. So hopefully there's more to come with the ladies at New Japan Strong.
Absolutely agree with you there. Then we had the main card that kicked off with a number 1 contenders matchup, 3-way bout, as it was Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming up to verse TMDK's Bad Dude Tito, Robbie Eagles versus the Grizzle Young Veterans, James Drake and Zack Gibson, to determine who would get the next shot at the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. TMDK took Ishii and Tanahashi out in the early goings. That left them to battle with the GYV before Tanahashi tagged himself in. The ace stood his ground defiantly, but Eagles tagged himself in, but soon found himself in dire straits from Gibson and Drake, man. Gibson and Drake, when they start putting the engine going and start doing their tag team offense, and James Drake starts flying around the ring, man, it just catches you off guard. But they're just so good at just going from like a 1.5 speed to a 5, like automatically going zoom like a Sonic game. It's really fun how they pull off their double team offense in the matchup. I thought that this match was kind of a foregone conclusion, that this is GYV's first match on NJPW Strong Show. I thought that they would be the likely number 1 contenders, especially considering that the next big NJPW Strong or NJPW show outside of Japan is Royal Quest. It was like, GYV is going to win. They're going to become number 1 contender. Instead, we got a little surprise here as it was Takahashi and Ishii putting together the double team offense on bad dude Tito. We get a sliding lariat from Ishii, followed by the high fly flow by Takahashi to secure the victory here. This was such a fun opener to the show. I think Robbie Eagles looked good. Bad dude Tito showing off his Hoss-like offense. Like I said, GYV were the standouts in this one, and then Takahashi and Ishii pulling out the victory. Ishii he's had his own G1. Despite not being in the G1, from his work in AEW and Ring of Honor to his work here, he has had quite the summer and quite the resume that he has put together. And this was another really good matchup to put on that US resume for Ishii before he turned around and had a banger with Kyle Fletcher on AEW Collision on Saturday. But this one right here, I gave 3.5 stars. Really fun opener to the show. What did you think, J News?
I mean, when I finished watching the match, my initial analysis was, okay, GYV did all the work, and Tanahashi and Ishii got the win. That was my initial analysis, and I was like, God damn it! But okay, fine. To your point, I was thinking the same thing. I thought to myself, it makes sense, right? The common sense thing would be to have GYV win here, being that Royal Quest is in September. It is going to be in the UK area. They're a UK team and things of that nature. But you know, we got Prez Tana and the Stone Pit Bull with the win here. We'll see them back again at another match later on that we'll talk about. And I feel like Robbie Eagles, that bad dude Tito, man. You know me. I'm a fan of the big teats. So it was cool to see him yet again doing his thing. They did mention that he is the MLW openweight champion currently. So props to big teats on that. And Robbie Eagles doing the rounds, continuing to work every single day, getting booked every single place. Shout out to Robbie Eagles for doing the dirty work, you know. In pro wrestling. There it is. But yeah, man.
Not to be confused with Tom Lawler and Fred Rosser.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But yeah. I know we have to talk about that, but it is what it is. But you know, shouts to Robbie Eagles. I thought that GYV had a great showing, as we both stated. Hoping to see big things for GYV in the near future. That's all I have to say.
I agree with you there. Next up, we had the Bullet Club War Dogs represented by David Finlay, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, teaming up with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney to face Rocky Romero, Kevin Knight, and Yoshihashi. That's a preview tag ahead of Yoshihashi getting the next shot at the Global Heavyweight Championship. The War Dogs open up the matchup, barking at the audience, as is their tradition. Knight and Connors collided first, leading to Yoshihashi and Romero cutting Connors off from his War Dogs. I thought that Kevin Knight here was like the standout in this matchup. Just the way he moves in the ring. I saw somebody make this comparison, and I was like, ooh, that's a good one. He's like a young 2015 Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
When he was Shane Strickland. There's a lot of that in him. He has that charisma, that charm to him, but he's just so good in the ring already, young in his career. Knight held Maloney and Connors at bay for a minute. Despite his agility, the War Dogs wore him down, leading to a frenzied Romero to get revenge. Dispatching of Romero was Drilla Maloney, who hit that Drilla Killer, one of the best finishers in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maloney looked to give the Drilla Killer to Knight, but instead he gets a black backslide and gets the 1-2-3. Kevin Knight pitting one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Does that mean we're going to see the return of the Jet Setters in New Japan to get their title shot? Maybe Kevin Knight and Rocky Romero teaming up to get a shot at the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. That was a big win, a surprise win, in my opinion. We both predicted the War Dogs to win this one because Knight and Rocky were kind of there to take the fall, but instead it was the babyface who took the win. But It was the War Dogs who got the last laugh. They assaulted Knight and then beat down on Rocky, and then Yoshihashi got hit with the shillelagh by his opponent coming up at Destruction at the end of September. I thought this was a bit slower than the opening matchup, a more methodical pace to this one, but still solid work here. I gave it 3 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I think it was a solid match as well. I was definitely surprised that Kevin Nito, friend of the show, was able to pick up the surprise victory here. What I noticed and I watched Kevin wrestle a lot, but for whatever reason, it just stood out to me just watching him walk to the ring. And I was like, "Yo, man, Kev's been in the gym, son. Like, what's like he's out here ripped and stuff for whatever case. He's got new ring gear going and everything else in between. Like you said, it's like a young 2015 Shane Strickland out here in the world. You know what I'm saying? With the way that he moves and the freaking the bunnies, man. God damn, ain't nobody jumping like Kevin Knight, bro. But anyways, I'd say this. I feel like Rocky Romero, he's got himself his umpteenth tag team partner. They're gonna take this into the Junior Tag League, and we'll see how it develops. I don't think Kushida's gonna come back this time around to the Junior Tag League. It's gonna be Rocky and Kevin Knight. We'll see if they come up with some sort of a team name. But I see them competing.
Roppongi Jets. Roppongi Jets. Roppongi Lights.
So we'll see how that works out. David Finley's still doing David Finley stuff, right? And no knock, the dude's a talented in-ring competitor, but at the end of the day, he's just, I don't know. I just don't. It is what it is. Like the way he came out with the War Dogs and stuff like that. I was like, the War Dogs were front and center. Like Drill is the one with the look. Let's be real. Drill is the one with the look.
Dude, what has he been taking those AJ Styles vitamins, yo?
Yeah, he bulked back up. He's been bulking back up, and it hasn't even been a gradual effect. It's like 1 month, the next, boom. Like he's like you said, those AJ Styles vitamins and stuff like that or whatever. And Clark Connor's still doing his 100 proof shtick, so it still works. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the Yoshihashi match coming, during the Road to Destruction. That seems a little bit like it's been foretold at the end of the day. I don't think Yoshihashi's winning that match. So
yeah, I think this is merely a setup for Hiroki Goto at King of Pro Wrestling.
It seems to be that way. But decent work by everybody all around. Like you said, Kevin Knight.
I need David Finley to fully embrace the fact that he is treating these preview tags like every New Japan main eventer, and he needs to just wear a shirt during those.
Oh my God. Freaking t-shirt
because he very much I am usually the person who is the David Finley supporter out of the two of us, but he definitely treated this like he was Okada or Naito in a preview tag.
You can't be in there and not be the top guy and mail it in. Like, come on, man.
That's what every top guy in this company does.
But I understand what you're saying. You gotta earn that. You gotta be a top guy. He's not a top guy.
He's a top guy. Whether you want to admit it or not, he's a top guy, sir. Dude, G1 Climax semifinalist. What are we talking about here?
He's not a top guy. He's not a top
guy.
Stop trying to sell me on that narrative.
Top grads right here. Next up, third match on the main card, you had Jay News's favorite two tag teams. Dirty Work, Red Rosser and Tom Lawler going up against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. But this time, I didn't even know this because we did the preview and we was like, wow, why are they doing the same matchup on two straight NJPW song shows? This time it was a no disqualification matchup, which I will give them credit, made this a lot more interesting than their previous tag team matchup. Dirty Work Didn't even let the match start before they assaulted the West Coast Wrecking Crew from the backstage to the ring. Once the dust settled, Rosser and Lawler caused Nelson great suffering. Isaac soon found the adrenaline to give the West Coast Wrecking Crew a fighting chance by striking Lawler. WCWC then followed this by clanging baking sheets on Rosser's body. We get them posing with Tom Lawler in the ring. Nelson delivered Lawler onto a spine buster, onto some chairs. Isaacs catapulted himself into the railing. Then we get using steel chairs. Rosser introduced into the ring a short time prior. Their opponents were left incapacitated. They set up a door between the apron and the barricade, which led to our big moment of the matchup. As you get Lawler came to the rescue of Rosser when he seemed doomed from the start, hoping to send Nelson through the door bridge on the outside. Thanks to a tug of war, Lawler and Nelson fell through the outside door as Rosser sent Isaacs through a door on the inside of the ring to pick up the 1-2-3. This was a plunder-filled brawl. It was pretty fun, in my opinion. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would going into the matchup. So I gave it 3 1/4 stars as Dirty Work pick up the victory. And I'm starting to get used to them as a tag team because they have a fully fleshed story that if you've been following NJPW Strong from the pandemic from 2020, you have seen the entire saga of Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler. So they kind of fit together as a tag team. And I rather tag teams like your West Coast Wrecking Crew and Dirty Work in like World Tag League instead of insert top guy with someone from his stable as a tag team when they never team up together throughout the whole year. I rather them bring some NJPW Strong tag teams over to Japan for World Tag League. So I wouldn't mind Dirty Work and West Coast Wrecking Crew to get spots there. But like I said, 3 1/4 stars. What did you think, Jay News?
I go into every one of these matches that involves Filthy Tom Lawler and Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs. I go into it with a bias. I'm not going to lie to you folks. At the end of the day, these guys aren't my favorite wrestlers of all time, you know? And Tom Lawler just seems to, every time he gets into a ring or I watch him get into a ring, it just pisses me off even more. Just because it just doesn't seem believable anymore, right? I'm supposed to believe this guy was a former UFC champion fighter, and he's supposed to be taking these guys on and beating the crap out of them. But by the majority of the match, the West Coast Wrecking Crew was dominating the team of Tom Lawler and Fred Rosser. I'm always going to give Fred Rosser his freaking flowers because he's put in the goddamn work. He's out here training these kids on the West Coast, doing the damn thing for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But he gets saddled with Tom Lawler every freaking show, and I gotta watch this crap. No. It was not fun for me to watch this. First of all, you stated in your opinion, very, very well put together opinion, that the big spot of the match was when they put the door in between the apron and the barricade. That spot itself floundered to me. It was not the big spot in the goddamn match. It was like, it just happened. Because it looked fucking messy. It was like it's supposed to have a certain level of impact during the match, and it didn't have that impact for me and whatnot. I'll say that. I think the biggest part or the biggest spot of the match was when Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson took the chairs to a trash can Tom Lawler. Yeah, that was the biggest spot of the match. I appreciated that spot, but outside of that, nah, man, it's just another match, man. It's just I need better from my main man Fred. That's all I got to say. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
That's fair. That is fair. Next up was probably one of my matches of the night, one of my favorite matches. Zack Sabre Jr., the winner of the G1 Climax 34 tournament, going one-on-one with Los Ingonables, De Japon's own Teton. And boy, oh boy, man, I've been following New Japan Pro Wrestling, very active since we started the True Hill Heat flagship podcast in 2017, and even before that, from like 2013, 2014, been following it strong. I have never seen a winner of a G1 Climax tournament go on the schedule that this man Zack Sabre Jr. has gone on from a week later after winning the G1, facing Hechizero in an instant classic at Rev Pro's 12-year anniversary, showing up in the Casino Gauntlet matchup at AEW All in London, being the glue of that matchup, and then turning around here and facing Teton at Capital Collision. He got a good reaction from this crowd coming out. They displayed their technical greatness early on. Sabre Jr. countering Teton using his speed to kind of gain an advantage over Sabre Jr. This one just kept going back and forth. The mat work was really well done. The counter work was really well done. Teton using his high flying ability to keep Zack on his back foot. Teton was looking for like submissions. They were trading holds back and forth until the very end. Teton found one last reversal by Sabre Jr., but Sabre was able to put on one of his very complicated, very confusing at times submission moves where he basically had like a stretch muffler. He grabbed the other leg into like a half crab, grabbed his arms with his legs and stretched them back. It was like an arm and leg submission to pick up the victory in this one. This was just a technical wrestling clinic in the best way possible. And Teton probably impressed a whole bunch of people going hold for hold with the best technical wrestler in the world. This was the best match of the night up to that point. I gave it 4 stars. Just a great, excellent technical wrestling display by both men. Teton, we need more Teton in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That is all I will say. J News, what did you think about ZSJ and Teton?
I agree, man. We need more Teton, bro. But I also stated during our preview that this was going to be one of those sleeper bangers. And for sure, it was. And props to Teton for doing it for the culture, JaVale style. You know what I'm saying? Breaking out some stuff that I was like, oh, I hadn't seen that in a hot minute. I was like, okay. And then there was stuff that I hadn't seen or whatever. And same thing with ZSJ. Look, Zack told President Tana, he told the brass over at Bushi Road, put the company on my back. I'm gonna lead us to the promised land. That's what that man did. And at the end of the day, everywhere I see him, he is a walking promotional banner for New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. And him just having the ability that he does to do what he does in the ring and not be able to have a bad match whatsoever. And just him being him at the end of the day, which is the coolest thing of all of it, you know? So definitely a dope match from beginning to end. More Teton, more ZSJ. Shout outs to Nito-san for going to Mexico 2 nights prior to back up his main man Teton in the crowd, and being there for him. That was interesting to see. But all in all, definitely a good match. 4 stars is a good rating, man. I'm with you there. So definitely an enjoyable one for me as well.
Next up was Tetsuya Naito going one-on-one with TJP. Now, this is Naito in the US. Mm-hmm. So my expectations were low. But I would say TJP, he exceeded my expectations here because he immediately attacks Naito right at the bell, hitting him off the top rope. Where he targets the well documented knee injuries of Tetsuya Naito and really made that the focus and the story of the matchup. Hitting his knee against the ring post, attacking the knee with a variety of wearing down moves. We got at one point TJP removes Naito's shirt, and I was like, "Oh man, Naito's actually going to take this seriously." He took off his shirt. That's insulting. But Naito instead gets the upper hand and then puts back on the shirt, which probably way too much.
The level of disrespect he showed TJP, I was like, man, listen. Mr. Perkins deserves more respect than this. But yeah.
Naito landed a beautiful looking DDT, tornado DDT, landing him right on his head before putting back on the shirt. TJP regained his strength, but then the referee got a slight referee bump, which allowed TJP to summon the Aswang and do the red mist right to Naito's face. It was all over his face. It looked like blood at one point. We get a series of unsuccessful pins and submissions by TJP at that point. Naito goes for his running Destino, which is much better than the arm ring Destino. I just want to keep saying that to Naito. You should probably just do that one as the finisher instead of the false finish. Naito tries for the regular Destino, but TJP is able to reverse. Eventually, though, Naito is able to pick up the victory with the Cornito, the Destino into a small package, basically how I call it. This one was a good matchup. I was very surprised by this one, more so because of TJP than Naito. Naito gave me the type of energy and the effort that I expect from him in the US at this point, but TJP brought it. Good matchup here. I gave it 3.25 stars. What did you think?
TJP, Mr. Perkins, he definitely brought it, man. I was glad to see that. First of all, I was glad to see him, man. It's been a while since I see him. That was part one, and then secondarily, I was just wondering what level of mail-in Naito was going to give us in this match. But TJP got something out of him, so that was definitely a positive there. The Corriendo Destino, as they call it. Somebody had a freaking towel of it at the show. I was like, okay, so now they're really making this a thing. So, he's no longer going to be doing the standard arm wrench into the hole. He's going to be running into it now, which makes more sense. Momentum is a good thing. But definitely a solid match. I want to see the full-blown Aswang one more time. You know what I'm saying? Like the half thing that he be doing sometimes with just the mask and then the mist or whatever. Like, nah, give me the whole entire outfit. Give me the entrance. Like I need the spectacle of it all. You know what I'm saying? But nah, definitely a solid match. TJ, look, man, TJ doesn't disappoint in ring. At least in my eyes, for all the years that I've been watching him, man. Believe it or not, if people don't know, he's fucking 40. He's been doing this for a long time. So, and he keeps himself in tremendous condition and stuff like that. And I know he has something to do with what they do at the NJPW Academy and whatnot as well. So, yeah.
My only frustration is that they made TJP the leader of United Empire and then proceeded him to not give him any big wins to solidify that. I remember us talking about it before the Best of Super Juniors that we both had him at least making it to the finals to solidify that spot. But he lost before the finals. He lost in the qualifying tournament for the G1. He put in a good effort here, but it's another loss. It's like, for all of this, you should have made Great Khan the leader of the United Empire.
So they were talking it up during commentary, right? Where Veda and Walker talking about Great Khan and pushing Great Khan and stuff like that, and how they shifted from TJP being the leader of or the newfound leader of the United Empire, and now just the captain. Right, because so it's like, because sometimes you could be the captain, but there's other leaders on the team who do different things or whatever. So, I don't, he needs to get some wins under his belt, man. I'm not too sure as to what it is that they're going to be doing with DJP, but they need to start booking him a little differently if he is going to be the so-called figurehead of this particular faction. But we shall see. I think if Great Khan has a terrific showing versus Naito, during his title match, there might be a fight for the top crown haver of the United Empire.
Who is the real emperor of the United Empire? Next up, another title match here. You had the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships up for grabs. TMDK's Mikey Nichols and Shane Hayes defending against CMLL representatives Hechicero and Varus. Nichols hoped for a lockup between himself and Hechicero, but he does a Venus flytrap from the well-known technician that is Hechicero that snared him up. We get Hayes also struggled to keep up with Virus, even though he's a little bit older in age. He was keeping up with the technical ability. I will say the CMLL duo was pulling out some really dope double team moves. Like this one, a neck breaker out of the Mexican surfboard. You had Hechicero do his usual kind of rebound thing where he flips the person off their back and stuff, and then Virus hit a move out of that. They were really cool, innovative double team moves. But when it comes to double team moves, nobody does it like TMDK. They got rid of Hechicero, the stronger of the two individuals, and focused on the little bit slower, in his 50s, Virus to pick up the victory here with the Tank Buster to retain the NJPW Strong Open Weight Tag Team Championships. Post-match, though, both teams, they shook hands, show respect to one another, but this brought out the new number one contenders, Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroshi Takahashi, and they made the challenge to TMDK for Royal Quest in London, England. And as a matter of fact, Hiroshi Takahashi just used his power and just strong-handed his way into the title match. He's like, I'm not challenging you, I'm making the match official because I'm the president. This son of a bitch.
He said the president says. He said so. Like that was cool. I mentioned it earlier, where talking about one of the matches that I came out enjoying a lot, and this was it. This was the match I enjoyed.
I give it 3.5 stars. This was really good,
and it was interesting because there was, I think someone tweeted it during the actual event of how Virus was 2 times the age of like the youngest person on the card or something like that. And I was like, he's in his 60s, god damn it. He's doing what he's doing. Yeah, man, and we're all like, not we're all, but like for people who are used to seeing Hechicero in the ring and stuff like that or whatever, they know how he is the in-ring alchemist, right? He is the alchemist of professional wrestling and stuff like that. And he comes up with all this different stuff in the ring. It was cool to see Virus like harken back to that time and era of his freaking wrestling lineage and stuff like that. And I was like, I haven't seen him move like this in a while because I don't get to watch him that often in CMLL stuff or whatever. So to see him still, first of all, you could tell he was having fun out there, and like secondarily, he was moving and keeping pace with everybody. And I was like, look, man, I wish I'm going at that pace in my 60s. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope because there's like, he comes from that era of like Negro Casas and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, he's not of this generation. So it's like to see him still vitally doing his thing and doing those double T moves, like you were saying with him and Hechicero was cool. Shane Haste, if you want to know who I think is one of the funniest wrestlers in all of professional wrestling, that guy takes the bit. That dude has a sense of humor unlike anybody else, and it's like it just shows in the ring. And then his shtick is always like he's just always trying to pull some sort of a freaking punchline out of his ass when it comes to certain things. So, props to him.
One of his signature moves is called Power Bottom.
Yes, exactly. So, him and Mikey is always a good and dynamic tag team. They brought it out in this match. I had a lot of fun with this match. It was way more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. So props to everybody in this match. Prez Tana, coming out, doing the power grab thing. He's like, hey,
selfish. Man, selfish.
I'm setting the match. And I was like, I'm setting the match. We got a tag match at Royal Quest. Book it. So, that was cool to see. Yeah, man. But so far, like throughout the show, I was like, all right, man, the pace is good. The matches have been really, really good. And I was enjoying everything up to that point. But then I feel like they turned it up even more after this particular match. So
the final 3 matches, man, were all great.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler alert for you, because next up we had a rematch from Windy City Riot. It was Hiromu Takahashi going one-on-one with Mustafa. Ali, and these guys went off to a really fast start. It was kind of like the last like 2-3 minutes of their match at Windy City Riot. Windy City Riot, they really started the match up slow and built to like a fast finish. This one had more of a frenetic start to it. You get Ali and Takahashi wrestling around the mat. They roll around until Ali attempts a pin, arguing with Takahashi over the pin. The arrogant Ali mocked Takahashi with every bit of offense he could gain. You get Takahashi. He introduces Daryl into the festivities. Insulted by this, Ali threatens to beat up Daryl, but decides not to. There was some comedy in this one, some fast-paced junior heavyweight action. This was a lot of fun. But you get Takahashi found his arm nearly broken over the guardrail by Ali with no chance to recover. Ali hits a splendid looking dive to the outside over the barricade. I was like, Ali busting out the 205 live version of himself. I see you. He spends too much time talking shit to the crowd. Ali suffers a suplex into the turnbuckle. We get Hiromu gets his neck worked over by Ali. He uses a headlock, drop kick to the back of the neck, gory special leading to a pin attempt, but Hiromu kicks out at 2. He goes for a 450 splash, but Takahashi is able to get out of the way. He hits the time bomb 2 to pick up the victory in this one. Takahashi, if he lost this, he would have had to call Mustafa Ali the best junior heavyweight wrestler in the world, but Hiromu is able to avenge his loss at Windy City Riot here, and the two agreed to one more match. Ali goes over to Walker Stewart and Veda Scott, who, by the way, did a really good job on commentary throughout this show. And Ali demands that the match happen next year, and he enters himself into the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like the earliest anyone has ever talked about this goddamn tournament. Let's go. I'm with it. This is something I wanted this year for the Best of the Super Juniors. I am willing to wait until next May to get Ali in the Best of the Super Juniors, but I felt like this match was better than their first match at Windy City Riot. I think I gave that one 3 3/4 stars. I'll give this one 4 stars, just a nudge higher, but you can still see that they're leaving a little meat on the bone to give you an even better matchup in their third encounter, which if it's in the Best of the Super Juniors, Gato, I'm going to give you a tip. I know you watch the channel. Thank you. We appreciate your support. Put it in Kurgan Hall, because ain't nothing like Hiromu Takahashi main event matches in Kurgan Hall. Give me Mustafa Ali, Hiromu Takahashi 3 in Kurgan Hall in the Best of Super Juniors next year. But really damn good matchup between these two guys who further showed off their chemistry that they showed off towards the end of their matchup at Windy City Riot in this matchup here. What did you think?
I agree, man. I mean, the takeaway I had from all of this was him declaring himself for the Super Juniors. Ali be declaring himself for the Super Juniors already next year, and it was cool to hear. And I was like, because of all the different rumors and innuendo and speculation that went behind why he didn't participate this year. And it's like, all right, come on, guys, let's do something for the fans. So at this point, the match itself was tremendous. I thought that there wasn't much time throughout the match where they really took a breath. Right, everything was just one thing after the other, counter after counter, high impact after high impact, dive after dive. I was like, all right, guys, all right, Super Junior style it is. I get it. You both can do it. And I felt like, to your point, by the time we got to the end of this particular match, it was like, oh yes, they did leave some meat on the bone for their third encounter coming at the Best of Super Juniors next year. And the hope is that they're not in the same block. That's the hope. That's the hope. So we'll have that. So and if anything else, I'll say this. It seems that that during the match when Ali did go to hit Daryl, there was I laughed out loud while watching the match because Veda and Walker were besides themselves, because He had unmasked Hijo del Daro and stuff like that. They were telling the cameraman to take the camera off the unmasked Hijo del Daro. And I was like, you guys are so into this. I appreciate that. I appreciate when it's all in the fun of what's being done in that particular match. And wrestling is supposed to be fun, folks, and that's legit. Like, if you don't have fun with your pro wrestling, I don't know why the hell you're watching it, to be quite honest. Yeah, man, definitely an exciting match, a match that took it up another notch for the show. And then I was prepared for a banger on this next match, SP. But what it turned out to be was something like, we need to do something with Gabe here that's outside of the realm of New Japan Strong at this point, right? Because now we got him in a tag team with Jake Lee. I get it. Like, Lio Rush too. Like, Leo's he's in his bag again, man. Leo's in his bag again. And it's like, all right, we got these guys in their peak prime. Like, they showed it out in this match. So break it down. Let the people know what happened in this match. Because God damn it, I need them to run this shit back.
So next up was Lio Rush challenging Gabe Kidd for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. You had Lio got the special entrance with the guy doing the to his theme music and stuff. Leo's got the kind of the black heart face paint on. Kid emerged with the standard fare black and white robe, proudly carrying his title, looking like a boxer coming out. All of the actors left the arena, and instantly this just turned into the speedy veteran of Lio Rush versus the overwhelmingly hard-hitting Gabe Kidd. This was your prototypical new generation David versus Goliath battle. Kidd using his strength and countering the quick pace of the challenger. He grew accustomed to Rush's style and strategy and took control and slowing things down, seemingly gaining some steam over Kidd. Rush attempted a Falcon Arrow to Kidd to no avail. After Kidd choked him onto the top rope, he failed to slam him on the mat, which was reversed by an impromptu Hurricane Rana. And then Lio hitting the spear like he's Bobby Lashley. I was like, they learned something from managing that man. Neither man could really sustain momentum throughout this matchup. It just kept going back and forth. The strength and power and hard-hitting style of Kidd, the speedy, high-flying of Lio Rush just going back and forth. After missing Rush with a chair shot and sustaining head damage because it bounced off the ropes, Lio took advantage, hit his final hour frog splash, but it only got a close 2 count. He was very disappointed in that. Bleeding from the skull, you get Lio has withstood all that he could, but it was Kidd who just overwhelmed him with his 2-shot offense, which is he hits a power driver, which only gets a 2. That got the crowd really loud and vocal. Probably the loudest the crowd was into the matchup was this one, with Lio being from that DC, Maryland area. And then you have Gabe Kidd, who's become such a polished overall performer when it comes to character work, mic work, and in the ring. He is just fully fleshed into the professional wrestler who could be a top star for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So he hits the drill a hole power driver after that, and then he says, "Oh, that's not enough," and he pulls out the Madman Bomb for the 1-2-3 to retain the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. It was basically Lio Rush like a superhero and Gabe Kidd with the no shits given attitude, and this just made for an excellent matchup in my opinion. I gave it 4.25 stars. This was up to this point the best match on the show. Gabe Kidd is really coming into his own in this NJPW Strong Openweight Championship reign, and I need it more than anything, more than any match at Wrestle Kingdom next year. I need an undisputed openweight champion to be crowned between Gabe Kidd and Hanare. Those two guys in Tokyo Dome, after what they did in Kurgan Hall earlier this year with both the Never Openweight and NJPW Strong Openweight Championships on the line, that is the match I need to see come January 4th. What did you think about Leo and Gabe here?
I'm with that, man. For me, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the ladies because I had a terrific match, but for me, this was my match of the night. What these two guys did, the level of the emotional ride I went on during this match, just because of how invested I am in both of them as professional wrestlers was very, very unique. And to see Gabe go back to begin the match when they were going back and forth and Gabe was keeping up with Leo's speed, to see Gabe go back to that for like, it seemed like for the first time in years for me, like visually speaking, I was like, whoa, he still got that speed, because he's built up, he's got all this muscle mass and stuff, he's doing all the freaking strong style shit or whatever the case is, but at least to be able to see him keep up and counter and stuff like that speed, and I was like, okay, Gabe ain't lost that yet. At least he still got it in him. And Leo just doing what he does, man. He's doing what he does. He's a supremely talented in-ring dude. He's very, very good on the mic and whatnot. You know, so for you know, this is one of those. This is another Leo Rush Renaissance, man. That is how I put it in my head. It was like it's another Leo Rush Renaissance. The dude's that good at the end of the day. So to watch these two guys who are like complete polar opposites of each other from a personality standpoint, right? And what they represent. And it was and the dynamics and styles in the ring and everything else in between, and just how they pulled off all their counters and their big moves and their signature moves for Kid to have that single leg driver into the gut wrench powerbomb for the win, to have to do those two moves back to back proves just how difficult of a competitor Leo Rush is to defeat. So take that away from this match, if anything, folks. It was
his reaction to Leo kicking out the regular power driver put over Leo in a big way.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
He didn't expect them to kick out of the regular power driver.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why he was like, I'm gonna drill a fucking hole. I love that finisher name, drill a hole, and then the Madman bomb.
They put that sequence together well. I'm not too sure when it happened, but when Leo got that cut above his eye and whatnot, and I know it was an accident because that wasn't meant to happen, but it did add to the match, to be quite honest. So I was oh, it added to the match. This is what people always talk about when there's color this and blading this. No blade. This wasn't purposeful, but it was done it was done in accident, but it added to the match in that particular sense, because it was really a hard fought match and no one knew who was gonna win by midway through. So, you know, I wanted to give those two guys their freaking respect and their just due, just because it was a terrific match, my match of the night for this particular event. And I want to see them run it back sometime down the line, sometime in the future, man. This was awesome to see, and yeah, man. Hopefully, bigger things for both guys coming in the near future. And yeah, just wanted to say that.
And then NJPW Capital Collision 2024 capped off with Mercedes Mone defending the NJPW Strong Women's Championship for the first time since winning the gold at Forbidden Door. She was facing STARDOM's own Momo Watanabe of the Hate Stable. I love the big time entrance for Mercedes Mone, and I said it on Twitter, I'll say it here. It was a big badge of honor that New Japan once again was given the main event spot to Mercedes Mone. That's how big of a draw she is for New Japan. She, you know, I know the criticism, and I had people in my comments like, oh, she's not a draw. You look at the ratings for her in AEW. This is why I specified in my tweet, she's a draw for New Japan, because New Japan is a ticket selling company. It's not about TV ratings for them. And when it comes to New Japan in the USA, Mercedes Mone on the bill is selling tickets. That's what it is. That's what the fact of the matter is. And I thought that Momo Watanabe, for the people that don't know of her, they definitely got an introduction in this matchup. She just showed so much charisma, so much presence, so much poise playing the antagonist against Mercedes Mone, who is typically a heel on AEW television, but she wasn't here in Washington, D.C. She has the big time entrance. The crowd was into it. Multiple people doing the CEO dance in the crowd. And it was like Momo took just an evil joy into just being the heel and getting the boos from these fans. Mone definitely always cocky despite playing the babyface here. Did her own stuff in her own right to counteract that. Momo Watanabe has like a great arsenal of different moves. So she was hitting a whole bunch of like drivers and suplexes at various points. Mercedes busting out the lucha libre, the step up arm drags and head scissors at different points. This was kind of like the vibes of what I got with Mercedes Mone versus Willow Nightingale at Double or Nothing, which has so far been like the benchmark for Mercedes since her comeback to the ring. That's been the best match that I've seen for her. This had a lot of that in it, but Momo plays more of a bona fide heel. So she's distracting the referee, using the bat at various points after putting the chair into the ring. Momo's basically mocking the fans and insulting Mercedes. She is the Black Peach driver for a close near fall, but she's not able to capitalize after that. Mercedes goes for the statement maker at various points in the matchup, not able to fully get the victory, but it was after a tug of war over Watanabe's bat that it led to Mercedes finally hitting the moneymaker, which was one of the best moneymakers we have seen since her comeback. I want to say that as well. And then she locked it right into the statement maker. That needs to be her finisher. Not just the money maker, but the money maker into the statement maker. She did that against Stephanie Vaquer back at Forbidden Door. She did that here, and it's just so well done as a 1-2 punch finisher that the money maker is not, because the money maker doesn't always look that great. So you need to hit the money maker into the statement maker. She got the tap out victory in this one. And I thought this was a tremendous main event to the show. Right up there, like I said before, with the Willow Nightingale matchup at Double or Nothing for Mercedes' best since making her turn. And I said it in the headline. I will say it here. Mercedes redeemed herself and made everybody forget about her dud of a matchup with Britt Baker at All In. I didn't think it was that bad, but the crowd reaction, it was a disappointing matchup on the All In crowd. This one redeemed Mercedes, and to the point that AEW has not mentioned her matchup with Britt Baker, but they did show highlights of her matchup with Momo Watanabe here before she made the challenge to anyone for All Out on Collision. Another great matchup from Mercedes Mone here. I give it 4.25 stars. What did you think about the main event, J News?
I thought it was very, very well put together. Like you said, Momo has a certain level of charisma, and her being part of Hate now, this female faction, this people equate it to be the female version of the House of Torture. I don't. But at the end of the day, they are all in, I'll best way to put it, black leather clad women beating the crap out of the majority of the other women in Stardom and stuff like that. They do the damn thing, but Momo was a good opponent for Mercedes here in this particular match. Mercedes has got some work to do come All Out. She's got Holy Sheeta to deal with. So that's gonna be a barn burner and a definite banger for her as well there. But this particular match within itself, it impressed me because I said, you know, it's been a while since Mercedes has been in there with any of the Stardom women, especially the ones who've been, you know, on working regularly, right? So Momo's just coming off the Grand Prix, so it's like she didn't have a good showing, but at the end of the day, it's still Momo Watanabe. So it's like, all right, let's see what it does. Great playoff character work. Like you said, Mercedes was basically playing the face in this, the baby face in this match here. It was my favorite moment of the match was when Momo effortlessly put Mercedes in the tree of woe, then sat down Indian style and smacked her around. And I was like, okay, we're going there.
I love when she took her out of the ring and just did the.
I was like, okay, Momo's really playing it up for the heel moments here. So it was definitely cool to see that contrast in personalities in the ring, man. But it was cool to see. Hopefully Mercedes gets more matches with the other ladies from Stardom or wherever they get their competitors from, be it with some of the Ref Pro ladies and stuff like that, if that. I know that Alex Windsor was participating for a point in time with New Japan Strong earlier in the year, so maybe some of the ladies from over there. But definitely, Mercedes needs to get into the ring with different types of talent, just so she can continue to showcase her in-ring ability, which is her strong suits, so that she can continue to do that. And I wouldn't mind seeing more of Momo Watanabe. I wouldn't mind seeing some hate in the U.S. to see how that goes over in the U.S., man. You know, get some Saya Kamatani on our side, some Tekla on our side. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take Saya and Tekla. That's it. That's fine. Momo earned another shot. Saya, she did good. She made it to the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, and Tekla is just she's awesome.
She's awesome. So we need a lot of that. We need a lot of that. At least from that particular vantage point. So man, terrific match, terrific main event for the ladies. Overall great show for New Japan Strong. Is strong show. So I want to give them props on that altogether, from the in-ring product that was brought to us from Capital Collision.
Indeed. We got 19 CT who says this man trying to get the Phoenix Queen in the States.
Damn right, man. Damn right. Why not? Damn right. Damn right. Jesus.
Let us know in the chat your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP. Out of 10, what did you give this show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. For me, NJ News for NJPW Capital Collision 2024 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. J News, out of 10, what did you give this show?
I'm going to give it a solid 8. The 2-point deduction just goes to the fucking production value.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't have anything bad to say about any of the matches. All the matches were more than quality at the end of the day. If I have to go with an MVP, man, shout out to the veteran, man. Shout out to Virus for doing the damn thing during the goddamn tag match. Shout out to him. But MVP, legit MVP of the night for me is the one and only Lionel Green, aka Leo Rush, because that man put on a hell of a damn show.
That's fair. Out of 10 for me, I'm gonna give the show an 8 out of 10 as well. And my MVP is Mercedes Mone, the CEO, redeeming ourselves and showing the world that All In was all Britt Baker's fault. All Britt Baker's fault. Bravo, Mercedes. Well done. Well done. J News, who was your LVP for the show?
You know what? For the sake of it being a part of the show, and because I didn't get anything out of him, even though he's a newcomer and everything else in between, the young man, Alan Breeze, LVP for me, didn't really show me much. So that's right. That's why I'm going LVP with him there. I think everybody else did good, showed up, did the damn thing. I could honorarily give the LVP to the production staff, but we're not doing that. So I'm going to go with Alan Breeze.
I am going to give the LVP to the production staff because the production on this show is never good. Sometimes there's silent moments. They don't always put up the volume on the commentary, so the production and the commentary were great, but like the production is always shoddy on NJPW songs, so I have to give it to them. And your match of the night, J News.
Leo Rush versus Gabe Kidd, man. I don't know how much more highly I can speak about Gabe Kidd in general. He's a fucking madman, you know. and look, man, I used to be one of the biggest Leo Rush detractors on the planet, but you are allowed in this life and in any life to be able to redeem yourself in the eyes of whoever, and that young man has done it, and I give him props for that. Check out his freaking Hey EW interview with RJ City, because that shit was hilarious too. So,
well done.
Yeah, well man. Done. But yeah, for sure.
My match of the night, I'm gonna go with Mercedes Mone versus Momo Watanabe. But honestly, you could have multiple different answers to that. Gabe Kidd and Leo Rush, like you said, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Teton, Mustafa Ali versus Hiromu Takahashi. Any of those matches, in my opinion, could have been match of the night. But we want to know what you guys think. That is just our opinion. We want to hear yours. So if you're not watching us live, like everyone else who is contributing to the conversation, and we always appreciate y'all for doing that, comment in the comments down below and let us know your match of the night, MVP, LVP, out of 10. What did you give the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. I want to thank J News for joining me today to break down NJPW Capital Collision 2024 as only he can. And of course, let the people know when they can follow you, J News, and when they will see you again.
You can always follow me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG. That's John L, your friendly neighborhood moviegoer. I talk movies, obviously, professional wrestling, and things of that nature on the Twitter machine, on the Instagram as well. The next time you'll be able to see me on True Heel Heat is probably sometime next week, as I talk about the 20th anniversary show for Shingo Takagi, celebrating his 20 years in wrestling. And then I believe the shows for the Road to Destruction shows start sometime next week. So I'll be on to, at least you'll see shorts about results for the Road to Destruction shows and whatnot. And then leading into the Destruction event at the end of September.
Indeed. We will be back with J News, myself, and Sanal coming up at the end of this month for our preview for Destruction at the end of the month, and as well as our review of the Destruction show that's going to have the Great Okan versus Tetsuya Naito in the main event. Until then, follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, and that's the best place to support us when we are not live here. But I will be back tomorrow live here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with the best AEW Dynamite review in the land, AE Ramble with Jimmy Macaram. So join us live for that. In the meantime, between time, if you like pay-per-view reviews, check out our NXT No Mercy review with the debut of Julia. I talked about that earlier this week. Also, me and the True Jaw Josh broke down WWE Bash in Berlin. And if you like everything about professional wrestling, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast is your go-to on all things professional wrestling with myself, True Jaw Josh, and Miss Chrissy Love from last Saturday. We will be back on Saturday, regularly scheduled time, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, with our all-out preview. And of course, on Friday, we'll have our full all-out preview. It'll be myself and Joe Hobart previewing that show for this Saturday as well. But for J News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our NJPW Capital Collision 2024 review. We are signing off until next time.